Welcome everybody to the FlexJobs Search and Resume Creation webinar. Again, my name is Jess Vivian Larson, and myself and Annette will be going over how to do searching on FlexJobs to most effectively find the type of positions you're looking for, and making sure that you're using best practices when searching. And additionally, we'll go over how to set up your resume profile. So we'll go over why it's important to have a resume profile and how to make sure that you have everything on the resume profile to have it activated for applying for positions. So I am going to hand over the search information to Annette, and we can start going over how to search the site.
All right, thank you, Jess. My name is Annette, and I work with client services. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to use the advanced search options field. So once you log into your account, see if Jess can take us to the live site. Thank you. Okay, so there's different ways that you can get to the advanced search. You can either get it from the top of the dashboard homepage. You go ahead and click it. Let me see. And you can also find it. Can you go back to the dashboard, Jess? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
So you can go ahead and find it also on the right side of the toolbar under Search Jobs. Okay, so let's go ahead and start here. So the advanced search is going to help you be as specific or as broad as you'd like to be. You don't have to fill out all the fields. However, if you only want to fill out, the keyword or your location, that's strictly up to you. Okay. You can also save searches from here, but we'll go ahead and touch base on that later. All right. So the first field is the keywords field. This can make your search really specific for a certain position or skill. Okay, so once again, this is completely optional. You don't have to fill this out. Okay, so for example, let's go ahead and put analyst in the keyword. Okay, and let's go ahead and hit the results, the search. Okay. One thing to note is that it will return the exact word that you're putting into the keyword. So I always recommend that it's a really good idea to play around with the keyword search. For example, if you go back to the advanced search, let's go ahead and put the word writing and run that search. Okay, so you see that there's a certain amount of positions available under writing. If we go back, let's try the word writer. Oh, Jess, did you put writing or writer?
Well, now that the keyword search uses both the same endings and beginnings, so writing will actually pull up for both writer and writing. And you can see in bold where writing is pulling up or writer is pulling up in the different relevance searches. You can also search by date, and that would do more specifically what is the most recent, but relevance will give you the job title with that word as well as the roots that may go with it.
Awesome. Our website is always getting better and better every day.
Yes, yeah, that's a new awesome adjustment. So you can play around with different words. We also have words. So for example, if you were to enter the word lawyer, it will also pull up positions for attorney since they are words that are used similarly. So you can play around with different terms and it should pull back different similar positions through that keyword search. So it can be really, really helpful.
Yes, and that's why I always recommend to play around with the keyword search just in case, so you might get different results with different combinations as well. Also, in the keyword field, quotation marks are very powerful if you're using more than one word. For example, if you search for medical writer without quotes, you might see both of the words getting searched for. If you put quotations or select exact phrase, you'll get the exact phrase that you're searching for.
Yeah, so you can use quotes or the exact phrase. Perfect.
Yep, exactly. So the next field is the exclude word. All right, for example, if you wanted to select, we might jump forward a little bit here, for HR and recruiting as a category.
Oh, whoops, I'm in the wrong area. Here we go.
Thank you. You want to go to the exclude words and you don't want to conduct interviews, so you'll put conduct interviews in quotations. And then you can go and search there, and you're not going to get anything that says conduct interviews within the job details. Okay. So the next field is the U.S. location. You can enter your city and state. There are jobs that even if you're looking for 100% telecommuting, they might, some cities might need local candidates for tax and licensing purposes. So just for an example, Jess, if you could type in Los Angeles, California and run a search. Thank you. So we didn't select telecommuting, so you're going to see jobs that are either telecommuting or within 30 miles from Los Angeles, California. Okay. And also, if you see, let me see, if we could go back to that search with the Los Angeles. Okay, so you're going to see different little icons next to the job. The little red pointer icon means that it has to be done locally. The U.S. flag means that it can be done anywhere in the U.S. And I don't know if there's any, if you scroll down, if there's any other little icons. There you go. And this is a great little icon guide right here. At the very top of every page for your job listings, when you have a results page, you can simply go here, and each of those icons are going to tell you what each one means. So just in case you're wondering what every single little icon means, you just hover your mouse over that. Awesome. Thank you, Jess. All right, so let's go to the next field on the advanced search. Thank you. The next field is the international. You don't, if you live in the U.S., you can leave this blank. However, if you're not in the U.S. or you're planning on moving out of the U.S., you're going to want to go ahead and select that country, just so, or the anywhere in the world icon. Or let me see. Yep, anywhere in the world is the first one right there, and that means you could do that remotely from anywhere. So the next field is the job type, where you can select freelance, employee, temporary, and so on. You'll notice that you can select multiple, and if by accident you added one, you can just go ahead and click that little X next to it to remove it. And that goes for the same for any of the fields that have multiple options. So the next field is the work schedule. This is where you can go ahead and select the type of schedule that you're looking for. Okay. So full-time is typically 40 hours, part-time being anything less than that. Flexible means that you typically have the ability to set your own hours, alternative schedules, evenings and weekends. That also includes graveyard shifts as well. And occasional is jobs that are pretty much available every once in a while, so those aren't the ones that are, you know, very steady necessarily, so to speak. And seasonal are pretty popular, usually the summer and the holidays. And then short-term and long-term are pretty self-explanatory. All right, now we could go on to categories. Here you can select as many categories as you'd like. For example, if you see a category, there's going to be subcategories as well. So if you're interested in something like computer and IT, and you're also interested in database administration, you're going to also want to select that to make sure that you do get those job posts. Okay. And again, you can select as many categories as you want, or you can leave them blank, or you can narrow down the categories on the results page as well also. So anything that you put here, you can also on the results page narrow it down. So let's go ahead and run a search, Jess.
All right.
Just so I could show them, at the right side of the page, you're going to see where it says narrow your results. So beyond the advanced search, you can also narrow down even more once you get to the results page if you choose to do so. This is also really good as well if you want to be very broad on your search, and if you just, for example, only wanted to put your location in, you can go ahead and narrow down your results here with the job category, schedule, so on and so forth. Okay. So let's go back on over to advanced search, please. All right, the next field is the telecommuting level. So a lot of people have come to our website looking for remote jobs that they can do from home. So this is a pretty handy field that you might want to fill in if you're looking strictly for 100% telecommuting. Let's go ahead and select that. So 100% telecommuting. Okay. So if you want to go ahead and if you want to be very specific to your area, you can also put your location in. So if you want to put in Los Angeles, California. You're going to see jobs now that either are available anywhere in the U.S., anywhere in the world, as well as jobs within California or 30 miles from Los Angeles that are strictly telecommuting. Okay.
So can you explain what it means when it has two icons? So when it has a flag and a push pin, what does that mean?
Absolutely. So for example, you see that one that has the speech language pathologist has the American flag, and it also has the little red pin. So this means that they're open to either they may prefer a local candidate. However, they're open to waiting for that right applicant to come by, even if they're not in a local vicinity. And so they could be anybody, anywhere within the U.S.
Perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's go back to the advanced search. And the next field we have is the career level. This is where you can look into entry-level, experienced manager, and senior level manager. So this is pretty much where your experience comes in. So entry-level positions require very little or even no experience. Experience means you've got a couple of years experience in a certain industry that you're looking for. Manager positions usually require some sort of supervisory experience, with senior level usually requiring several years in a management role. So this is up to you. You can also select multiple options as well if you'd like. Okay. And the next field is travel. So this is pretty self-explanatory, whether you are willing to travel for work or if you're not. So you would go ahead and fill that as you please. And our last field is to search by our featured and award-winning employers. So for example, if you know you only want to work for a Fortune 500 company, you can select that from the list, and the results will include only those companies. So why don't we run a search for that, Jess, just so they could see what that looks like. All right, so you see that little icon right there. So those are all your Fortune 500 companies if that's what you're interested in looking for. So you can run a search that way as well. Okay. All right, Jess, not sure if I'm missing anything here. If you want to maybe elaborate on anything I might have missed.
Let's go over how to save a search and where a search would be located.
Ah, yes, of course. So to save a search, okay. All right. So go ahead and let's run a search so we can show them how to save it. And this is really handy. For example, if you're going to be running multiple searches, every day or, once in a while. Instead of having to fill all these different fields out in the advanced search, it's really nice to be able to save it so you can go to a handy little place and just go ahead and run a search quickly. So you're going to see that orange box that says Save this search. Go ahead and click there, Jess. And you're going to want to name your search. Go ahead and click Save. Awesome, thank you. So in order to get back to this saved search, you're going to want to go up to the job search activity and select it, and you're going to get a few little windows open up. You're going to want to go to the heart icon, or I'm sorry, the Save Searches. And here she created the Writing in Denver. And there it is right there. And if you want to delete them, you can also delete them by clicking the red X, or like she just did right now. You can also move them around and prioritize them in any order that you would like. All right, thank you, Jess. And then, let's see. Did you want me to go ahead and go over the keyword search?
Yeah, that would be great.
Awesome. Okay, so we also have another way to search, and this is one of my favorite ways to search on our website. So as you can see, there's a search jobs field at the very top of the page. You can go ahead and open that, and it's going to expand 2 windows. You're going to want to put in your keywords of interest, as well as your city, state, or zip code. The reason we recommend that you put in your zip code is because, like I mentioned earlier, there are some positions that may be telecommuting, but they're only open to local applicants. So this is going to go ahead and remove any of those jobs that are not available to your area. Great, thank you, Jess. So this is going to give you results by relevance based on your keywords. You can also sort by date if you'd like to see jobs that were just posted. Also, you see that there's that little save search at the very top right there. So you can also save your search this way. Awesome. And then this is one of my favorite things as well. The right column is the narrow your results. You can practically narrow it down as much as you'd like. So for example, why don't we select all telecommuting jobs? And you're going to see that your page is going to refresh to reflect only the telecommuting positions. And you could also enter different narrowed results. Also, if you click something and you want to go back, just simply uncheck it and it'll refresh your page back to what it was previously. And for example, if you, let's just for the sake of an example, that journalist and blogger, the very first one, Jess, you see that little heart at the right side? You can save your job so that you can actually return to them at a later time so that you can review it and apply for it if you wish to. And you can also add notes as well. Okay. So Jess, you click the little heart. Let's show them how they can find their saved job. So you're going to go to the job search activity, and now you're going to go to the little heart that says Save Job, and you see your job right there. And you can go and apply for that later on. Okay? And not sure if anything you'd like to add, Jess, for the keyword search.
The only other thing that I would add when you run the keyword search, you have the option to do Boolean searches. If you're not exactly certain what that looks like, let me show you real quick how you can get to where you can do a little bit of keyword search help. So if you click this keyword search help right here, it'll give you information on how to add very specific terms or to use quotes or stars for different information. So if you have something, a specific keyword that you're looking for, but you don't want to include something, for example, you're looking for a writing position, but you don't have a master's or something like that, you can put in different search symbols that will allow you to run a more tailored keyword search. So this works in addition to that exclude words field. but it can all be done in the keyword search area. So this key is underneath the keyword search help right there if you ever would like to play around with the different options for keywords there. So that would be the one other thing that can be really, really helpful and makes the keyword searching very, very powerful on the site.
Great, thank you, Jess.
Sure. All right, so just the last thing, tips for searching. I think we've gone over a lot of these. The biggest thing that I like to point out is, especially with the advanced search, people can really, really make things too small where they're putting every field filled in with information and they may be missing jobs because they aren't multi-selecting something. So if you're open, and wanting to do just a general search to get an idea what's available, we really recommend on the advanced search, if you're not using the keyword, to put in your location, your telecommuting level, and the job categories that you may be interested in. That'll really give you a good start to know what you're looking for specifically. And then from there you can kind of tailor down.
Mm-hmm. The rule of thumb is more is not always better.
That's correct. Yeah, more can definitely make it so that you get limited. So, all right. Well, wonderful. So we will start heading into how to set up the resume profile. And I'm going to go ahead and give you guys information on how to do a resume profile on FlexJobs. So there are two places that I recommend going to find your resume profiles. So what you can do is you can click your name up here. Your resume profiles are located there. It will take you straight down the page to this area. You can also, from the My Dashboard area, just scroll down and it'll take you to the My Resume Profile area. So you've got a couple different places that you can utilize to find your resumes. And there's also, this is where you can edit, delete, or download different profiles or view them. So we're going to go ahead and start a new profile. Even though we've already got a couple started here, it's kind of nice to be able to see from start to finish. And on the resume profile, when you first open it up, you will see this blue box here, which will tell you the information that is required to complete the profile. And so all of these fields must be completed to activate an account. If you're missing any of these fields, you will not be able to activate your FlexJobs account. So you'll see as we go through that these will go, they'll disappear as we fill in the information. So the first thing that I also like to point out here is we do have some tips area information on every single field. So if you find yourself stuck at any point, you can always click the tips and it'll give you more information on what you could put into that field or what the expectation of that field is. So for example, we'll put in a profile title here. Just writer, which would be nothing that I would ever recommend putting in here. But and then you want to click Save. So you may notice at the top here on the blue box, we've lost one of the bullet points, which is the required job title information, because we now have that entered. Contact information, you do want this to be accurate. You want to make sure that your email address is something professional because employers can see this information. Including a phone number is a good idea. We also recommend you can put on a LinkedIn profile or website if you have an external website that you use. For example, graphic designers and other web professionals oftentimes have websites that would show their work, and so you can put that information here. You do want to have the city and state listed, as that's how the new jobs of interest are generated to your email on a daily basis. So you go ahead and save that. So for a picture, you have the option to add a picture to your resume or not. Some people don't feel comfortable doing it. Other people like to have it. It's completely up to you. If you want to put a picture, basically you'll just go ahead and browse and find a picture and save it to your file, and that will add the picture to your resume profile. The next area is the privacy area, and this is very, very important because this is how you control who sees your resume profile. So you can make your resume profile active and public. That means that it would be visible to public viewers including search engines. So if you're going to do this, we definitely recommend that you're aware that this is something that's going out everywhere. A lot of times people are currently employed and don't want their current employer to know that they're looking for positions. If that's your situation, we would definitely not recommend the active and public, but again, it's completely up to you how much you share. Active and private is generally what we recommend. It's viewable only to the employers with current approved FlexJobs accounts, and public visitors cannot view any part of the profile. So this keeps it so that the employers we have screened can see your resume profile, but it is not searchable by Google or any other search engines. The third option is inactive and private. This setting completely hides your resume from employers, and so if you go to apply for a job and you need to have an active profile, you would have to take your profile off of inactive and private to apply to that position. But if you are concerned with having anyone view your profile, or if you're working on it and not ready to have it visible yet, you can always change your profile status to inactive and private. And then you just click Save to make sure that your status is the way that you would like it. Home office settings, these are pretty simple, so you can put in the different types of computer systems that you have. You can put in the different type of internet connection, and then if you have any other office equipment that could be beneficial, such as a tablet, a printer, you can put in that information there. And just click Save. And then for military status, this is again a drop-down, so you can select if you have a military affiliation or not. If you have no military affiliation, just click Save. And then you have a couple ways to keep moving forward with this process. So this is kind of the natural flow, is to go to the bottom and click Next tab, which takes you to the My Job Search area. But you can also move between tabs at the top here. So you're not limited to just moving through the resume profile in order. So summary of qualifications, this is an area where you can put information about what your qualifications are. This is information that you wouldn't necessarily keep in your cover letter. So it's a little bit more tailored to what you have done in the past or what you would want people to know about you. And you've got some options as far as formatting goes. We like to see at least 2 to 3 sentences describing why you'd be a great candidate. This is one of the required fields, so when I click Save here, it will eliminate that from this blue box as well. Job categories, you may have these already filled out. If you've just started with this site, it will take you to pick some job categories by default. So you can go through and select up to 5 categories per resume profile that you would be interested in or highlight that particular skill set. So if you have multiple backgrounds, so for instance, if you're a writer as well as a teacher, you can have multiple profiles with multiple job categories to highlight those different areas of expertise. So you've got some options here, but each profile only allows up to 5 job categories in it. Next, we have our job details, and so these are the details about what type of position you're looking for. So these are default checked to everything. If you don't want to do something like a volunteer, internship, or temporary position, you can uncheck those. Again, same with this. If you are not interested in these types of schedules, you can eliminate the checkboxes there. And then for career level, you can only choose one career level on this area, unlike the job search. So we typically recommend picking experienced or entry level, just because the new jobs of interest will come out based on those selections of career level. You will typically see fewer results if you have manager or senior level manager selected, because they have to specifically say those titles in order to be categorized there. So again, you can play around with this, and if you're not finding you're getting enough results, you can always go back in and switch your career level around. Education level, this is another whatever your highest level of education completed is. Desired salary, you can enter this or not. This is completely up to you if you're comfortable entering a desired salary or pay. Some people don't want to put that in, some people do. Again, it's up to you what you're comfortable with. And then if there's other compensations or benefits that you're wanting, including things like health insurance or paid vacation, you can put that information in this area. And then you'll just click Save. And now you'll notice that the blue box has completely gone away. So we filled out everything necessary to activate this profile. But we have a couple more things we can put on for sure. So availability and schedule will give you a desired start date. So if you need to give notice to an employer, or if you are looking to work immediately, you can put that information here. You can also put when you're available during the day, so if you want to work nights and weekends, you can put that information there, and also the number of hours that you're looking to work. So just click Save there, and that information is available. So the next tab is Upload Resume. So if you have a resume that you are sending out regularly that you would like to have connected to your FlexJobs account, you can simply go through, you can browse, and pick a document and attach it. And a CSV won't work, which I was kind of concerned that it wouldn't, so I apologize about that. So we'll pick a PDF or a .doc document will work, and it'll save. And then you can see the current file there. If you ever want to change or edit your resume, you would just need to go in and delete the resume off the account, or off the resume profile, and then you can upload a different resume onto that area. Uploading a work sample, oftentimes people will have writing samples or things like that that they would want to include on their resume profile. So again, you would just pick something and attach it so you can have multiple work samples that go through your experience on your resume profile as well. So again, if you don't have a resume, you can continue to the next tab, which is the Build Resume tab. We do not recommend doing both attaching and filling out a resume, or the Build Resume section. It's just a duplicate effort. So if you attach a resume, you certainly don't need to build one. And the fields here on the Build Resume are pretty standard for what you would see on a general resume. So you can have your work experience, and we'll put in just a couple quick things here so we can get some information. Because what you can do that's really, really helpful is you can adjust and move around where different positions are located. So if we want, we can, perfect. We can move these in different orders. So if your work experience is out of order, you can manually move them around. You can always go back in and edit any of these fields. So if you want to change something, just make sure that you click Save so that it does change that information. And that's true both for the work experience and education. You can do that for both. One of the things that is required on education is dates. And so if you graduated from high school in, we'll say 1976, then that's not something that you want to put on your resume profile because you're concerned about age discrimination or something along those lines. We do recommend building a resume or attaching a resume as opposed to building one, because the dates are required on education on our field. So just like to let people know that. And skills, so here you can add different skills that you have that highlight why you would be a great employee for different work. So you can put in different software. So if you're familiar with, for instance, Microsoft Word, and you can choose your proficiency level. So do you have a basic knowledge, proficient, advanced, or expert? And then save it. You do want to put each skill individually, so you won't want to enter multiple skills in this area because there is a number of, I'm sorry, I'm completely blanking on what I'm trying to say here. There's a restriction on how many words you can have in this field. And so you want to make sure that you have these listed out separately. So Microsoft Excel, for example. There we go. And we'll see basic knowledge. So you can just keep putting those in, and you can have as many skills as you'd like. Languages, if you're bilingual, you can enter the language that you are also fluent in, and you can pick your basic knowledge if you're fluent, proficient, or familiar. So that's a great place if you have multilingual capacity. Certifications and memberships, this can be really helpful if within your field you have groups that you would want to show that you are a member of or that you have been certified by. So you can enter those in here and just click Save. And then additionally, if you have any honors or awards that you would like to highlight that show why you're a great candidate for the position, you're welcome to put those in here as well. So the next tab is the My PDF tab, and you would really only use this if you are building a resume and you don't have one that's attached. So if you're using your FlexJobs built resume as what you will use on exterior sites, then that's when you would really use the My PDF. What employers see when they look at FlexJobs resume profiles is not the same as the PDF. It's actually, like I just clicked in the view area, this is what they see. So they can see everything in the online format. And it goes through, again, with different contact information, summary of qualifications, work experience. And then again, if you want to make sure that your attachments are there, they will show right here as your FlexJobs resume or your FlexJobs work sample. And all of the information that you've entered in, as well as skills testing, is all listed on your resume profile. I'll touch on that really quickly here. And you can also download the resume PDF if you are going to be using it to apply to external websites. So if you ever want to go back and view a resume profile after you have created it, again, you can just go down and move into this area to see your different resume profiles. You can click View to get an idea what an employer would see. If you need to edit them, you can do that there. You can also download the PDF and you can delete them. This is another way to tell if your profile is active as well. So for instance, if I go in and edit this by removing this title, you'll see that the blue box shows up again saying that we're missing some information. And when you scroll down to the My Resume Profile area, you'll see that the profile status is incomplete, which means that you will not be able to use that profile to apply to a position on the site itself. So another thing that I like to talk about is how you would know if a resume profile is potentially going to be used by an employer or if it's an employer that's external. So on FlexJobs, we have two different types of employers. We have our featured employers, which are employers that come directly to us, that are screened and approved by our staff, and they post their jobs directly to FlexJobs. They can also browse job seekers' resume profiles to select potential candidates. Those jobs will always have the orange title, and you'll see this little FJ starburst on the job itself, which means that it is a FlexJobs specific listing, as well as our external employers. So our external employers, we have a job research team that finds these employers through outside websites and through our database. We have tens of thousands of employers that we've worked with since our founding in 2007. We go through and screen and verify each job for legitimacy, just like we do with our featured employers. They do not post their jobs directly to FlexJobs, and they cannot browse the job seeker's resume profiles. So those job titles will be in blue, and you won't see that FlexJobs star. So one of the things that I can show you very quickly on how to use your resume profile, put this in the right way, there we go. All right, so this is an employer that I know uses the FlexJobs specific applications. So you'll see here it says FlexJobs approved employer. If you ever want to see more information about an employer, you can click that more information. It'll give you current and past jobs, and it will also give you more details about the jobs or the employer themselves that you could use in your cover letter, for example. So to apply for this job, you just scroll down, click Apply, and it'll take you to an area where you can write a cover letter for this employer. So we'll do that, and then you can choose which profile, if you have multiple profiles, you want to send to this employer specifically. So maybe for this one, I want to send my webinar moderator with 3 years experience resume profile. You click Apply for this job. It will give you a preview of what your application is going to look like. So it'll show both your cover letter and your full resume profile with all of your information. And then you just click Apply for Job, and that application will go over to the employer. If you want to see if you've applied for a position with an employer, you can look at your dashboard area, go to your job search activities, and you'll have your application history. So we'll show that that application has gone through. If you ever don't want that application sent to the employer any longer, if you'd like to remove it, you can just click that X, and it takes that away from being in the employer's inbox. So if you've made an error or something like that where you've decided you're no longer interested, you can remove your application there. So that is the basics of the resume profile. And there's just a couple other things I want to touch on really quickly, and then we will get moving on some questions and answers. So feel free, if you've not already asked a question that you're wondering about, you're welcome to put it in and we'll get that answered for you. And we also have a video for job search profile creation that's on the right side of that edit area. We have some additional membership features that I always like to point out to people because I think people don't necessarily know that they're there. So we have referrals. So if you're enjoying your FlexJobs subscription or know someone who is also looking for flexible work, on your account, you're going to have an area right here that says refer a friend and get a free month. For every friend that you have that subscribes to FlexJobs with your account, you can earn a free month and they get 30% off. So feel free to use that. And then another area is the special partners offer, which is right here, which has discounts for a lot of different options that we have partnered up with. So companies like Resume Deli, for instance, if you're looking to have your resume reviewed by a professional resume service, that's something that they offer, and they offer 20% off any service for FlexJobs members. So you can redeem deals for co-working spaces, home office needs, and job search help. So that's a great place to check out and make sure that you are utilizing as well as a FlexJobs member. So we are going to go over and start looking at some questions here. So one of the questions that we have here is, how do you search for work from anywhere jobs? So I'll pass that over to Annette. If you were going to search for, if you wanted to look for jobs that you could do from anywhere, how would you search for that?
Okay, well, I would go, if you look at the right side of your page, when you're on your dashboard, where it says jobs by location, if you go down a little bit, and if you scroll down, you can see right under international, it says anywhere jobs. So that would be an area right there that you can search for any job that can be done anywhere in the world. And of course, also in the advanced search under, you go to the advanced search, thank you. Under international, you can also select anywhere. Awesome. And something I forgot to point out, I'm sorry?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Something I forgot to point out is that there's a little tick box over every field there that can also help you if you get stuck.
Perfect. And one of the things that we also recommend when you enter location, like U.S. location, for instance, here, so if you enter, for example, Denver, Colorado, and do a search, this search will give you both the local positions, and I think you touched on this actually, Annette, and as well as national and international positions. So that's the reason we always recommend putting in a location, is that, you know, I just entered Denver, but this is also pulling up for me a lot of positions that are open worldwide as well as locally to, for example, Englewood, Colorado. So that's the reason that we always recommend that there is a local area put into that field. Okay, let's see here. Sorry, I'm having to read and moderate here. We have a question, do employers prefer a particular resume format of resume uploaded, so the PDF versus the FlexJobs one? No, it's really up to the individual. If you have already put in the work to create a resume, I would definitely just attach it. There is no discernible difference between building a resume versus attaching a resume. We really just provide the build resume feature for anyone who may be coming back into the workforce that doesn't have a resume readily available, or if they have a resume that's very out of date and are going to need to build one anyways. That's really the purpose of that. It's not specifically for every person to be required. So yeah, but we do recommend a general file type, so things like .doc or .pdf that can be opened by an employer. That is what we recommend there. So we have a question about completing cover letters. So we don't have any cover letter. You can't save a cover letter right now onto the site. You do have to write them individually, which is what we recommend anyways. But if you need tips or help with cover letters, we do recommend going to the job search tips and help area. We have cover letter tips. We have over 42 different blogs here that can go over basic tips for writing cover letters, information as it's updated from different employers. The partners that I mentioned earlier are also frequently guest writers on the blog. So we'll talk to, for example, Resume Deli did a webinar with us on how to make a great resume. So we include all of that up in this Find a Job area, which can be really helpful. So if you need resume tips or cover letter tips, this is where we recommend going on the site itself. This is also where, if you want to view the webinar, this webinar, or any of the webinars that we have recorded, they're all located on FlexJobs resources. So, for instance, if you missed this webinar from a couple weeks ago with DVM Elite, PwC, and Haynes & Co., you can click this, and it allows you to view the full webinar. So, lots of options if you are unable to see the webinars at the time, or if you're a new member who missed a webinar from before. So, and we've got a question. Does an American flag basically mean that you can do the job from your home, or that the employer will consider remote work? For the most part, yes. One of the things that gets very confusing for people a lot of times with positions is the idea of telecommuting and travel, or telecommuting and location. So it's something that we end up kind of clarifying a lot for people when they first join the service. So in red underneath each job, it will tell you the type of flexibility that that employer is offering. So for instance, this is a part-time temporary job. It doesn't say anything about telecommuting. So this is not a position where you would be working from home, because it's not listing telecommuting. You can always check the job type and the type of flexibility at the bottom of each job at the job details. Whereas this position, this technical writer position, so it's full-time telecommute, and it's available US, Canada, or UK. So when you click this, at the bottom of each listing with telecommuting, it'll tell you the level of telecommuting. So this position is all telecommuting, which means that this job, for instance, would be something that you would be able to do in either the UK, Canada, or US, and that you would be expected to work from home 100% of the time. There's no travel listed. But there are telecommuting positions that have travel. So if you're not willing to travel, that's definitely something that you would want to put, and you really do want to keep to applying for positions that are either located in your area or that have the flag. So this one, for instance, is a part-time job located in Bloomingfield Hill, Michigan. So this is not a telecommuting position, and you would need to be in that area to apply for it. Let's see here. Go through some other questions. We have a great question. Why is there a monthly fee? So FlexJobs is a fee-based service because we are the only job board that actually goes through and hand screens every single position that's listed. So some of the reasons to use FlexJobs, if you're not already a member, are listed here in the How FlexJobs Works area. So we go through how and why we started, how we work, and who should use FlexJobs. There are a lot of different people that need flexible work opportunities, and it is a really great way to avoid scam positions. We are not paid by the employers to put their jobs up. We're specifically a job seeker service, not an employer service, so that's pretty unusual. And then we've got a lot of different benefits here. So if you ever want to kind of look through and see what the benefits that you're getting from using us, or if you're ever curious about press or awards, we've got a lot of different pieces that have come out from a lot of large companies, and we also have a lot of great awards about our company as well. And let's see, I have a question about posting dates. So if a job has a date that goes back to August 2016, is it worth still applying for? And the answer for that is yes. A lot of times people will not apply for jobs because they think they're out of date. If the employer is still accepting applications, it's worth applying for. Oftentimes they will be applying for multiple, or they'll be looking for multiple applicants, and so the job date will look like it's an older position, but it's because they are applying for multiple positions, or looking for multiple candidates. So always see if if the link is open and active, if they're applying, or if they're accepting applications. I would suggest going forward with it. A lot of people will self-select away from applying for jobs that are open, and that would be a great fit for them based on that date consideration. So we have a question, is there a high success rate of members finding telecommute jobs with FlexJobs? The answer to that is absolutely. We get success stories every single day from people that are able to find flexible work through our service. If you ever want to take a look, we actually have an entire area, let me find where it is here, of success stories. Find where we have put that. Thought it was right in here. Let me see. There we go. So if you ever want to look for some motivation, there are some great, these are all FlexJobs members that have been with us in the past that wanted to share their stories about how they were able to find positions with FlexJobs. That's a really great resource as well. And let's see here. Are skills tests important? That's a good question. So we do have skills tests available to anyone who is a current member of FlexJobs. So the skills tests are located on the sub-navigation bar here. You can take a test or view your skill test results. There's over 170 tests to take. You can choose from a lot of different categories. You can take these as many times as you would like to see if you have the skills. Anything that scores lower than a 70% will be visible only to you, but not to employers. And I don't know if you guys saw on my resume profile, the 2 skills tests that I have on this account, you can see here. So you can see these are 2 tests that are on here. You can see the score, percentile. This one is in the top 20%. And then what the average score overall for the test is. So those are definitely another tool that you can put in your tool belt. They're certainly not required. Some employers do ask to have you take certain skills tests, but it will say on their applications themselves what skills tests they would like to see. It does not determine whether or not you get a job. It's basically just a way to show that the skills you are saying that you have on your resume are actually verified by a third party. So that's an option as well. So if you want to use these on an external resume that you're using, you can take a screenshot basically of this information and attach it as an image onto a resume profile if it's going somewhere outside of FlexJobs. So let's see here. We've got a couple more minutes for a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, so we have a question that I'm going to pass this to you. What happens if you have both the country flag and the location flag? We want to touch on that again and make sure that that's kind of clear. So let me pull up one of those jobs and you can go over that information again. Just a second, let me get there. So we'll use this unit clerk, for example. What does it mean if it's got both those symbols?
Okay, so when you have 2 symbols such as, are we looking at the unit clerk, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one is either looking for candidates within that country, within Canada, or anybody in the local vicinity where that job is located. So if they're looking for a local candidate, but they're also open to anybody within Canada. So that's what it means when you have 2 icons together.
That's correct. Yep, so preferential treatment basically for the local candidates, but also for the right candidate in that country, they would consider hiring outside of that area. We have a question of how do we search by salary range? We don't have a search by salary range, as a lot of employers do not make their salaries public information. That's something they'll discuss at the time of interview. So it is not a searchable field just because of the inconsistency of whether or not it's going to be something present. If we do have a salary, we will list it always. But again, that is up to the individual employer if they're comfortable having a salary listed on their job listings. Unfortunately, that is something that we see becoming less and less common, just for a wide variety of reasons. So just a moment, let me see if we've got anything else that I can answer really quick. Oh, an interested employer, how would they communicate with a potential candidate? That's a great question. So you do have a message inbox. So if an employer is contacting you through FlexJobs, you will have it appear within this message inbox right here on your site. If it's an external employer, they'll contact you however you put your contact information in with them. One other thing to note really quick is you've got your new jobs of interest here as well based on your categories and profiles. So that's definitely where you would expect to see them. The reason that we do it that way is to be able to monitor anyone who has access to our resume profiles. It's another layer of protection that we provide to our members to ensure that everyone who's contacting our members through FlexJobs is a legitimate employer and not a scam opportunity. So we do keep very close watch on who has access to our resume profiles, and we decline about 75% of what we see because it doesn't meet our criteria of legitimacy. So it's something that we're very, very, very protective about. So let's see if there's one more. Oh, we're at about a minute too, so I'm going to go ahead and get to wrapping things up here. So if you have questions that you submitted that you did not have answered, I know there are some that we were just not able to get to or that are very specific to a person, you're always welcome to contact our Client Services Department. We're definitely here to help. There's a Contact Us at the bottom of every single page on FlexJobs. And we've got a couple different ways that you can reach out to us. You can give us a call. I would not recommend mailing us. I would recommend either chatting, calling, or sending an email. So if you have a question that you're wanting to have us answer that, again, we did not get to, please feel free to utilize our different contact options here. We also have a frequently asked questions area, and we also have helpful articles in this area as well. So oftentimes a lot of these questions can be answered through these different blog posts, which gives you a lot of autonomy as a job seeker to be able to move forward with your job search. So I want to thank everybody for attending today. Thank you for considering FlexJobs or having a FlexJobs membership. We do genuinely appreciate it. You can always go to flexjobs.com for more information, and we wish you the best of luck in your job search and your careers.